My opponent landed a huge head kick and had me seeing stars, but was I able to survive the rest of the match? After not fighting for a whole 6 months due to an injury, I was finally a month and a half back into training, but I couldn't wait any longer to get back into the ring as soon as possible for my 10th Muay Thai fight here in Thailand. My goal is to fight in one of the big stadiums in Bangkok before the end of this year. I'm 35 years old now and the clock is ticking. Subscribe now to see what happens. The battle begins, and this time I planned on fighting more Thai style by starting off slow and feeling out my opponent. The only problem is that I think I tried a little bit too hard to do this, where I wasn't really sure what to do with myself when not constantly attacking, causing my strikes to look sluggish and not nearly as explosive as they were in my last fight, if you happen to watch that one. That was a slick counter kick to my arms by him. I try to close the distance with punches, but he's very quick on his feet. This time I managed to come in close, showing control in the clinch with a crossface, but the referee breaks us up quite quickly. I don't like the way I sloppily lift my front leg here, again trying too hard to start out slow, leaving myself open to this beautiful sweep, sending me to the canvas. At this point, I start to realize that it's a bad idea to play the kicking game with such an experienced Thai fighter, so I throw a left hook to set up a clinch entry, once again doing a good job at controlling him with the crossface, and the ref breaks us up quite quickly again. I could be wrong, but I think referees tend to break up the clinch faster in the first 2 rounds for whatever reason. At least that's what I've noticed from my own fight experience and from watching high-level Thais fighting traditional Muay Thai. Here I land a decent body kick, but he throws another quick counter to my leg. After another exchange, we end up in the clinch again. You can tell he's getting annoyed with how strong I am in that position. End of round 1. Round 2 starts, and my corner tells me to keep clinching with him, so I close the distance right away, this time controlling his arms and scoring with some knees. This time the referee lets us fight from there for slightly longer. Here we both score with kicks, but he does a good job at staying in the lead with his counters. He attempts a knee as I come in, but is off balance, and I use my strength advantage to push him to the floor. He's definitely more technical and experienced than me, so I have to work with what I've got. Once again, he lands another great sweep, halfway sending me to the floor, all because of my sloppy, telegraphed front leg feints. Now make sure you pay close attention, because this is when he lands that big head kick, all because my hands were too low as I was closing in. Sloppy on my part. But I jump up to my feet right away, doing my best poker face, even though I was definitely rocked, thinking to myself over and over again, act normal, act normal. And ironically, one of my coaches told me before going into this fight that this guy had a dangerous head kick. But of course, he managed to land it anyway. And without hesitation, I continue with my game plan of smothering his long-range attacks. This time landing a hook to his face as I enter the clinch, once again doing a good job at frustrating him with the crossface. My corner yells at me to throw a left body hook, which I do, and he falls to the floor, visibly in pain, receiving a count. At first I thought that maybe he took a dive because the body shot wasn't that clean. That was until I saw the amount of blood pouring from his nose into his mouth, even though it's hard to see in the footage here. Because if we go back just moments before from another angle, you can see that the hook that I landed actually broke his nose, and the instant realization of the damage done on his face. Talking to him after the fight, it turned out that the ridge of his nose was actually caved in, and that the blood pouring out of his nose into his mouth was actually obstructing his breathing, and the body shot that landed just happened to be the icing on the cake. You may not realize it, but these videos actually take a ton of time to edit for almost nothing in return, so please consider becoming a YouTube channel member by clicking the link in the description below for just 99 cents a month to help support my fight journey if you enjoy my content and are able to, of course. Thanks, as always, to my opponent for the fight experience. I'm going to be fighting again very soon, so stay tuned for that, and subscribe if you're not already. Cheers, guys.